Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Talk Podcast. Today, I want to share a topic with you all that is highly sensitive. And we are talking about this because I think it is important to educate people and share more awareness about this illness, the virus, the potential risk, and everything that could be involved, and also talk about how people nowadays tend to, play with their lives, take risk, believe that only people in a certain group who have been stigmatized with this sickness, only they have it, right? Not being aware that anyone can have it in that sense, right? So you can tell already I'm struggling with this. I've never really talked about this topic. But in general, if you've been listening to my podcast, you know that I would always, point out that people need to be more aware of catching diseases. I would talk about this, especially when it's an episode that has to do with promiscuous behavior. Really, this is not funny, and you could be putting your life and so many other people at risk just because you wanted to have fun. Let's see what this clip is about. Oh yeah, so I found this clip on JR Wisdom, his YouTube channel, so definitely go and take a look. I will be cutting his face out, that's why I think it's fair to share where I got the clip from. Okay.
So a lot of people are asking for a story time on who's responsible for my diagnoses. If you don't know, I am 22 years old. I was diagnosed with HIV in August of 2023 at 21 years old. I'm gonna get into it with y'all. So I was 21. It was March of 2023 when I got my last STI and HIV test, and that was negative. I had just turned 21. I was outside. I was doing my thing. No shame. It is what it is.
So yes, I know, we listen, we don't judge, and I'm not here to judge, but I'm really here to point out certain things. So the first time when I listened to this and she said, I was outside doing my thing, at first I didn't really think too much of it because, you're young. I was just thinking she was going out, partying, finish. But then if you really, you hear the story, you know what the story is about, you think about it again, you think about within our times, the lifestyle and how people are talking nowadays, what people mean when they say, oh, I'm outside, it is connected to promiscuous, sexual promiscuous behavior, okay? It's important to point that out in this case and also really follow along with the timeline.
But anyways, there's 3 people that I needed to tell from March to my diagnoses in August. And I'm gonna get into each of the people. Okay, so the first person we're gonna go back to. But the first person I met in April, and I had seen him probably once, twice a week, every week for maybe, let's say 2 months. So April, May, June, right? Okay. So the first person I had met in April, and I had been sleeping with him on and off, like just as a situationship from April to May and June, right?
Another thing that I want you all to keep in mind is not because I'm trying to say, oh, she's sleeping with so many people. She said 3 people, or I'm trying to, make an opinion on how much, what, in what time frame, whoever. I don't even know. That's not what I'm trying to do here, okay? What I'm trying to point out is that the fact that whoever even comes into consideration and you're worried about this is because there was a choice made. There was a choice made without choosing to not use protection, right? And remember how she said she did a testing, right, in March. That was her last testing. She just turned 21. She's fine. She's not sick. Whoever you met and whoever you were having fun with, you perhaps did not know if that person and any other person that you continued having interactions with were tested are safe. So to some degree, there's risk taking, and to be honest, it's kind of a thing, right? Everyone does that, right? No one, I mean, I don't hear too many people who think like that. I definitely do, but you know what I mean. It's so important to get to know someone instead of just assuming that it's fine. You're fine, okay, but you don't know that person.
Right, we'll call him Tom. And then I had met someone and like we were more serious. I was with him from June to July, but it didn't last long due to just like issues. And the third person that I needed to tell, I had been with him from July to when I had been diagnosed in August. So we'll call them 1, 2, and 3 in this scenario. So keep in mind the first person, I had been with him from April to June. It may be April to late May, to be honest. But late June, I started to develop a fever. I had 105 fever for 7 days straight. Went to the ER and I was not tested for HIV because I didn't meet the HIV standard, which is being gay or using drugs. I'm straight. I need to emphasize that.
So I think I'm going to make a pause here, and I'm not sure, maybe some of you already heard the video before this where I actually tried to explain more about the virus, the sickness, how it, develops in the body. And something that I did not talk about, but I'll share now, is also in Europe, there is certain criterias that kind of fits. Some people would call it stigma. Choose your language, but there are certain rules, certain situations that are going to be looked at before they would come up with the idea that you might be HIV positive, right? And also, even if you're not in that sexual category of people, right, and you show up in the ER, and you're very sick, you're high on fever, that is not necessarily the first thing that they would do, right? So what I'm trying to point out is this has nothing to do with only gay people or whatever kind of people. This could be anyone, because the point and the fact that you don't necessarily get tested for it, except if you really ask for it, or if you fit the certain criterias, you could just, slip through and no one knows. And if you listened and learned, there are people who really don't show up with symptoms at all, or at least it takes some time, right? So I'm trying to point out that it has nothing to do with the sexuality of the person or group of people. At the end of the day, is the choice of interacting in sexual manner with people without using protection. That is the major point that I'm trying to stretch. Someone you did not know, someone you did not sit down with to have these conversations, someone you did not say, hey, let's go get tested together. Hey, tell me about it. Just even to see the reaction, someone who you're not committed with, like you just, went along with it. And that is the unfortunate part about it, because beforehand, this young lady, you would say she kind of did the right thing. She went and had her STI test and her HIV test, but yet you met people that you did not know for a short fling period of time, but there must be a choice of not choosing, of not choosing protection, right?
So anyways, had 105 fever for a week straight, and after that I just got sicker and sicker and sicker, and I had been in and out of the hospitals, doctors, nobody knew what was wrong with me, right? So we get to August, I'm in the hospital, I finally figure out that I'm HIV positive. I have to make 3 different phone calls to 3 different people because I obviously, as hard as that was, I'm not gonna not tell these people because one, they need to protect themselves, get tested, and I don't want to put someone else at risk.
I respect the way she went about it to say, I do not want to put other people at risk. I'm going to immediately inform, those 3 men that she was having relations with. I do not know how she must have been feeling in that moment, right? But still, I salute her. I'm so happy for how she went about it, saying, definitely, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm going to tell these people, and I'm going to make sure that not only I find the best way to keep myself safe from now on, but protect everyone around me. That is so important. But think about how unfortunate this is. Now, I cut the video. You might be thinking, whoever of these 3 men is the one who's positive, right? Did they know about it? Did they do this on purpose? You can be asking all these questions, which are to some degree valid for sure. But at the end of the day, I want to talk about the risk that we are taking nowadays. Just, having these easy relations with people you do not know, and not having these uncomfortable conversations. And that conversation could have saved you, in the long run. That conversation could even possibly reveal by how that person reacts to it. If you sit there and say, hey, I do my testings regularly. What about you? Do you know your status? And just see how they even react. Are they willing to go that step with you? All these kind of things, especially if you want to choose to be intimate in a, very intimate manner, meaning you just want to leave the protection out. I think people need to put that into consideration, not put that into consideration. It is so important, guys, please. I will continue the clip because I'm sure people want to know how it's going to turn out.